In this video, we will briefly look at the Speech 1315 presentation requirements. For this course, you're required to complete 4 presentations: influences presentation, artifact narrative presentation, informative presentation, and persuasive presentation. You'll find in the course outline that in the first few weeks of class, there's no presentation due, and you will find that your last 2 presentations are due close together. The reason for that is that there is a lot of groundwork. There's a lot of information we need to cover about delivery and about developing an outline and a works cited page before you do your first presentation. And so that's why it does feel like you go a while without completing a presentation and then you have several back to back. So I apologize for that. There's just no way to give you all the information you need before the first presentation assignment without giving a gap there from the beginning of the semester. So for the influences presentation, you're required to do a presentation video and a formal outline. The artifact narrative presentation requires the video, the outline, and you must incorporate visual aids into the presentation. Each main point in the artifact narrative presentation will require its own visual aid. For the informative presentation and the persuasive presentation, you'll have presentation videos, formal outlines with works cited page. That's a minimum of 5 sources where the sources are cited in APA format. You must include technology-based visual aids such as a PowerPoint, Prezi, or slideshow, and that visual aid must be incorporated into your presentation, but those 2 must also be uploaded as their own separate assignment. The reason you don't upload the artifact narrative presentation visuals as its own separate assignment is because those can be actual objects. It doesn't have to be technology-based. Grading. All requirements of presentations must be submitted in order to receive any one grade. So you can't submit a presentation video and get a grade if you haven't submitted the works cited page and the outline, if that's required. The works cited page and outline are average as 1 grade, and that will be a test grade. Works cited and outline will be due 1 week prior to the presentation deadline. If a visual aid is required separately, that assignment is also due 1 week prior to the presentation. Presentations are 70% of your grade, so it's impossible to pass this course if you don't successfully submit all 4 presentation videos. Rubrics are included in Canvas with your presentation information, and rubric and grading information for outlines and works cited page are also included in Canvas. Presentation video requirements. Videos that do not meet these requirements will be returned. For each presentation video, you're required to have a minimum of 5 adult audience members. I must see those audience members in the presentation. I prefer that the back of their heads be viewed throughout. If not, just make sure I see them at the beginning and the end of your presentation video. If you're a dual credit student, you can use high school age students as your audience members. Presentations without audience members will be graded as a 0, and students will be required to resubmit that with an audience if you want that assignment graded. Once you submit it, a late penalty will be incurred once you submit, if you don't submit everything accurately the first time. The presenter must be facing the audience and the camera. The lighting of your setting must be such that the presenter can be viewed at all times and seen clearly. I must be able to clearly hear you throughout the whole presentation, and you must be standing unless you've been given permission to sit because of a medical condition. There should not be background noise during your video, so it's not acceptable to have the TV on, a radio on, music playing. If you're a dual credit student, it wouldn't be acceptable to video in the hallway, in the cafeteria. If there's a lot of extra noise, that's not acceptable. Instructor must be able to grade eye contact, body language, and gestures, and your audience should not block you, the presenter. I don't accept edited videos, so you must do your entire speech in one sitting or one event. You cannot go back and edit your best efforts in a variety of videos. Presentation time and video time is not the same thing. So if your video says it's 4 minutes, 30 seconds, but a minute of that was introducing your audience and getting the room set up, that your speech will be graded based on your actual speech time, not video time. Do not hold the camera while filming. Do not hold your laptop or iPad to show the PowerPoint or as notes. Do not film outdoors unless you're given special permission. The reasoning why is there's a lot of sound that you can't control outside, and sometimes it's very difficult to hear you clearly. Before you submit, it's important that you view your presentation in its entirety. Now, I know that's not fun, but the reason being is sometimes there's periods in a video where you're not audible. Sometimes videos cut off and you're unaware. So just keep in mind that what you submit is what I'm going to grade. So if your video cuts off and you don't have a conclusion, or your third point and conclusion are missing, I can't grade that, and your grade will suffer. So just make sure that you view the video in its entirety, and make sure I can see you throughout, I can hear you throughout, and that your video is complete. When to submit your presentation video, you will submit your video to Canvas by using either Canvas Studio to film, Google Drive, so you video your speech, you upload it to Google Drive, you submit that link to Canvas, OneDrive, Dropbox, or YouTube. Students often will email and say, my video is too long to upload directly to Canvas, and so that's why you would use one of these ways. I will tell you, there are a lot of other options out there you can use. These are the ones I get most often. But if there's another format that you have found where you can submit to Canvas, do that. You're not limited to these things. These are just the ones I see most. Never email me the video file or attempt to upload the file. You can attempt to upload the file directly to Canvas. That sometimes works depending on length, but don't email me the file. I will email you that everything has to be submitted to Canvas. Once it's presentation video time and I have begun grading, please check your email to make sure your video was viewable. I will email you and put a comment in the assignment if I had an issue with your video or link, but it's your responsibility to correct that as soon as possible. If there's an issue with your video and it's not corrected quickly, I will grade that as a 0, and it will stay that way until you've corrected it. What I typically do is after I've graded all presentation videos, I'll send an email out in addition to emailing you privately and say, okay, I've graded all presentation videos in this class. If you don't have a grade, then that means there's an issue, and correct it as soon as possible. So I try to make sure that students that do have an issue with their video have opportunities to correct it. Okay, so really quickly, I'd like to go to Canvas and show you where you can find some of the information in our course. So home, if you go to home, and really let's go to modules. So if you look at, well, it helps if I'm in the right class. So if we go to the modules page, and if you look at the section called presentation information, the first thing you'll see is a quick reference. This document just gives you some basic information about each assignment. You can see in the grid really quickly what is required, how many main points, how long does it have to be, and then the link here, if you click on that, it's going to take you to a separate page that has a lot more information about that assignment. So on this page, you're going to see a document that gives a lot more detailed information about the assignment and what it should look like. It's going to give you everything you need to know about that assignment. You'll also have with each one a sample outline. So this is an outline I've developed so that you have an idea of what my expectations are for your outline. This is the format that it's expected that outlines would follow. You'll also have the rubric that I use to grade students when I'm watching your presentation videos. So this will kind of give you an idea of what I'm looking for when I'm grading your speeches. And then below there, you'll see assignment links for each assignment. So this is everything that's involved. You'll have the outline, you have the presentation video, and also after each presentation video, you have a self-reflection to say, this is what I think I did well, when I gave my presentation, and these are the things I'd like to improve upon with my next one. And then at the bottom, there's some additional information that you can review regarding outlines and delivering your presentation. Let's go back to the modules page to that same section. So you see the quick reference. And then there's a document, presentation videos, preparing for my presentation, what to do. These are all the questions that I frequently get from students. So it's going to kind of show you, okay, when giving a speech, if you say extemporaneous is what we do in this class, what does that mean? When giving a speech, what can I use for notes? How do I practice? So these are the things that might help you as you're developing and practicing your speech and answer some of those frequent questions that I get. So this presentation information section, you talk about the presentation video requirements. These are the individual assignment sheets for each presentation that's also linked in the quick reference. And then below you have additional information on the outline, works cited page, visual aids, delivering, etc. So as you need more information for each speech assignment, this section here has everything that you may need to make sure that you are fully informed. But what I think is the most helpful is the quick reference. I get emails a lot on how long does a certain speech have to be. Well, that's here for you, really easy to find out. So I hope this is something that you find helpful as you work on developing your speeches. I look forward to hearing your presentations this semester. Students always come up with very interesting topics and interesting perspectives, even on topics I've heard a great deal. So this gives me an opportunity to find out a little bit more about you. I appreciate your time today, and I hope this helps you have a better understanding of our presentation requirements.